Hello, my friend, and welcome to the Accountable Podcast. If this is your first time, thank you so much for joining. And if this is your multiple times, I am so thankful that you've come back here. And today we're talking about a tension that I see so many high achievers have, and you may be experiencing this too. And that is balancing your ambition with satisfaction. And oh my gosh, what a topic this is, because being driven and being ambitious is such a beautiful thing. But the downside of it is that it can make you feel like you're never doing enough. And I was recently speaking at a women's retreat, and this came up so many times that I knew I really needed to talk about it. This whole idea of enoughness. Sometimes you get to the end of the week or the end of the day, and you feel like I didn't do enough, even though you were busy all day long. Sometimes you get to the end of the year or the month, and you think, I should have done more. Those shoulds really come up. And maybe you're pursuing your dream or you've been working in a job for a long time and you think, I should be further along than I am right now. And it is so difficult because it is a blessing and a curse to be ambitious and to be super driven, but it's also the curse of the enoughness factor. And through reflection on this and thinking about how I've worked with clients, and I fall into this trap every single day if I'm not really careful. And as I was looking at it and thinking about what is the thing that is super helpful, like I have a lot of tactical tools I can share, but what does it all boil down to? And I realized what it is, and it's gratitude. My friend, gratitude is the thing that helps these two things work in harmony, because I truly believe that you can be ambitious and satisfied. And this is something that I feel like I've talked about for years and years and years and never really I didn't say these words, but I've talked about it. It's like, it's okay to love what you have and to have gratitude for what you have and also strive for more. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. And I'm going to share a very tactical practice that you can do. And I am not going to tell you to buy a gratitude journal and write in 5 pages a day. I'm not going to do that because it may work for some people. And if you're doing that, oh my gosh, please keep doing it. I actually had someone at the same women's retreat, someone mentioned that there's a gratitude journal, a 5-year gratitude journal that it's like 2 or 3 lines every day. And you keep the same journal for 5 years. And I thought that is kind of my jam. I think that's really cool. So I'm going to look into that, but I haven't personally done that practice. My gratitude really looks very different, and it's worked really, really well in a lot of clients' lives that are not the same as me. So all of my clients, while every single one of them are very ambitious people and very driven people, they all pursue life and pursue goals in a different way. But this practice that I use with each one of my clients has transformed the way that they're able to look at how they're pursuing their goals. And how they move forward with this looks a little different in each context, but it all starts with the same thing. And I'm going to teach you that today. But first, I want to talk about the greatness that comes with being ambitious. And I've mentioned this, and I just want to recognize it one more time because I want to make it very clear that I am not telling you to suppress your ambition. That is not what I want you to do at all. I think it's fantastic that you're ambitious. I think it's wonderful that you're driven, and not everyone has that gift. So you may be listening to this and you're like, I wish I was more ambitious, Amanda. And that's a different conversation, right? But I want everyone who's listening to think, I am super ambitious, I'm super driven, but it really stresses me out. I feel like it can lead to burnout, all these things. I don't want you to think of it only as a curse. I want you to recognize that it's a wonderful thing, and a lot of people actually wish they had more of it. And so celebrate that. And I think that's the first step in this, is to recognize this is a great characteristic. Sure, there's a downfall to it, but it's a great characteristic to have. So just wonder, like having that recognition of this is not a bad thing, it's a wonderful thing, and I'm going to use it to my advantage in this life. And then I want to take us into like grounding ourselves in gratitude, because that's the glue. That's the glue that brings these two things together. So you got ambition and you've got satisfaction, and they seem to be at odds with one another, but they're not. We can actually have the glue that brings them together, and it is gratitude. The gratitude glue. Maybe I should create that. That sounds fun. You just never know what's going to come out of, when I'm recording these podcasts. But I really like this idea of thinking of it as the glue that brings these two things together, because they can work together. And this is not just my opinion. There's a lot of science behind gratitude, and you can do the research. Well, I've pulled a few things for you, but of course you can look into this if that is your jam and you want to understand more. I'll make sure to link everything in the show notes. But studies have consistently shown that gratitude is actually linked to a higher well-being, positive emotions, life satisfaction, and lower depression and stress. Don't we all want that, right? Lower stress. And if you can do that for free by tapping into gratitude, man, sometimes we're looking for like a quick fix, and this is one that we actually have access to. So let's utilize it. A ResearchGate study actually showed that gratitude also acts as a protective factor against burnout. And that's a big one. I really wanted to bring that in because as an ambitious person, you're very prone to burnout. Like that's just kind of one of the things. And so if you can ground yourself in gratitude, it actually prevents that, which is wonderful. This goes into the workforce as well. So if you're a manager of a team, if you're a leader in any capacity, bringing in gratitude into the equation of your leadership team meetings or different team meetings, huge win. And you can slip it right in there real quick. And one of the things that you can do, I was just telling a client this right before I was recording this, actually. She was raving about how her team has responded to a change she's put into her business, and they've done really well. And so I said, make sure at the next team meeting, you really celebrate them, because change is hard and they've probably had to navigate quite a bit. So you recognizing them is going to be really important. And so it's also like you can take it for yourself, but you can also take it forward to your team or to your family. If they have changed, maybe you've made a change in your personal life and you've done something with food or cleaning or whatever in your household, and your family has responded well, show gratitude for that too. So when we think about what it is, how do we make this glue happen? And that's what we're thinking about now is this. We've got the ambition, but we want to make sure we're still satisfied. And what is that glue? So the tool, I don't have a fancy name for this, although now I kind of want it to be gratitude glue or something related to that. But what I do with my clients, and this is the system that I use, all my clients are going to be like, yes, she does this all the time. And it is part of how I work one-on-one with clients, whether it is an individual or a team. And what we do each and every week is I have my one-on-one clients fill out a form and I ask them several questions. And then of course we meet and we move forward. And so they're filling out a form. And then every 30 days, I send them a recap of what they have talked to me about over the past 4 weeks. The reason that I do this is because we are in our day-to-day life, especially super ambitious people, and we are going. We often don't take time to reflect on the 3 things that I pull out into these recaps. And every single one of my clients, I've never had a client not say, oh my gosh, I forgot that I did that. Thank you for reminding me. It is one of my favorite things because it's so easy to forget. And I like to say, I have coaches who do this for me. So we all need some type of support. I'm going to tell you how you can do this for yourself. I'm not saying that everyone has to work with me. I don't have the capacity to work with everyone. So I need to teach you how to do this as well. The thing is, you have to hold yourself to it when you don't have someone asking you. My clients do it because they know I'm going to check the form every week. So they fill out the form. So the 3 things I pull out is I want you to recognize your accomplishments, your amplifiers, and your barriers. So let me talk about each 3 of those. Your accomplishments are the things that you've done or learned. This is anything that you've done. Maybe you were able to get everything done on a today list, one of your days of the week, and that was fantastic and you felt really good about that. Maybe you tackled one project and stayed super focused all week and you were able to get that across the finish line. Maybe you showered every day and that was your goal, and that's the season of life you're in, right? It doesn't matter how trivial the accomplishments seem or the things that you've learned, because we really want to tap into that too. It doesn't always have to be an accomplishment of like, I checked this thing off the list or I did this thing. It could be, I learned this about myself this week, or I learned this about a family member where I captured this idea, or, I saw a beautiful flower on my walk and I stopped and really looked at it and took a moment to really look at it. It can be as simple as that. These are the accomplishments that we want to capture. It can be as short or as long as you want that list to be. It's just what you actually feel like you accomplished that week. Amplifiers are the things that help you. What helped you stay focused on your goal this week? What helped you stay focused? What helped you stay motivated? What helped you get through when you weren't motivated? What were the things that helped you? Some things that people say all the time: headphones, focus music, and deep work time. Dedicated work time. This is what I see all the time. And all of my clients fall into that bucket at some point. There's always other things too, but those are some pretty good ones. Like, people love when they can just focus in, and they focus in for 15 minutes, or maybe it's half an hour, or maybe it's 3 hours, but it's that focus time that they can do. And they usually say headphones. Shout out to all my clients who say that. And I just love it. I should probably give those as gifts, one of these days. And the next thing you want to think about are, what are my barriers? What hindered me from staying focused? What hindered me from tackling everything on the list that I had to do? This is often lack of motivation, or sometimes it's when we get sick. Sometimes it's when we have guests in town. Sometimes it is, it could be anything. The barriers that get in our way. A lot of the times we can, if we're really honest with ourselves, we can say, well, I was the barrier. I got in my own way because I was scrolling Instagram when I should have been doing this thing. It's just about being honest. It's not about shaming ourselves or feeling any guilt. It's just identifying those things. So like I said, I have my clients fill this out on a weekly basis. So you could do this for yourself. All you have to do is create a simple form, Google form, type form, whatever you want to do, and fill out a form. And I would suggest every Friday, but you can do this any day of the week. But at the end of the work week or whatever, you kind of fill this out, and it should take 5 minutes or less. Don't go crazy with this. Do not spend over a lot of time. This is something you want to be super short with. It's like 5 minutes and you're done. You get it out of your brain and you don't think about it again. Then once a month, you reflect and you look at this information and you see the patterns. What did you say helped you on a regular basis? If you do this for multiple months, which I highly recommend, you will see patterns. You will 100% see patterns. And then what you can do is you will know what helps you and what hinders you. Therefore, you can look ahead and see the roadblocks coming. When you have certain things that happen on a routine basis, you can plan for it. It's pretty amazing how much is actually routine. The amplifiers, you know exactly. I know when I need to focus, I'm going to put those headphones in, and I have a favorite playlist that I'm going to go to, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to knock out this thing that I need to do. You'll know exactly how to tap into momentum when motivation isn't there, which is a huge, huge thing. So now I need to connect this, because you're like, you just told me a very tactical thing. How in the world does this connect to gratitude? But it really does. So it's kind of sneaky gratitude, is recognizing the accomplishments, is actually thanking yourself for doing the thing, because you're seeing what you were able to do. It anchors you in the good. You've recognized the things that you've been able to do, and you're saying, I did that. That's really great. That is gratitude for yourself. We often don't do that. We'll show gratitude to other people, but we often don't thank ourselves for the focus time, for the determination, for allowing our drive to push us forward. We need to anchor in that. And then it also allows you to have forward motion, because it's anchoring in this good gratitude yumminess that we have, but it's also understanding what helps me and what hinders me, those amplifiers and those barriers, and you're saying, okay, when I recognize this, I recognize that I can move forward by doing these things, or these are the things that stop me. And what you're doing in this gratitude practice of really identifying your accomplishments, your amplifiers, and your barriers is you're recognizing, okay, I have great ambition and I'm not trying to stifle that. That is not the thing I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is make sure that I'm staying focused and satisfied in what I'm doing and satisfied in the way in which I'm doing it. And therefore, I can also pursue more if I want to. It's very, very intentional. So when we anchor in the gratitude, we're actually able to appreciate the ambition that we have, but also stay satisfied with what we've already been able to do. And this is a huge, huge thing. So again, it's coming back to this practice that you can do in a very simple way. And so that's what I want you to do today. Is your accountable step is to set up this process, or maybe you just do it once and see how it feels. All you have to do is grab a notebook. Maybe you open up a digital Google Doc or something, and you ask yourself a few questions. So question number 1 is related to your accomplishments. I want you to ask yourself, what progress are you proud of from the last 4 weeks? I want you to look back. Maybe you look at your calendar and you see what you were able to do, big or small. Think about that. I want you to really look back and say, what am I proud of? What am I proud of learning? What am I proud of staying focused on? What am I proud of pushing through? What am I proud of the last 4 weeks? And then question number 2 is related to your amplifiers. I want you to ask, what helped you move forward in the last 4 weeks? What helped you take action, maybe even when you didn't feel like it? That's a really big one. What helped you as you were feeling like you were in the flow of things? What were those things that helped you? Question number 3 is related to your barriers. So what hindered you? What got in the way of you staying focused? What got in the way of you moving forward towards your goals? And I want you to be really honest about this one. Again, no one's going to see this but you, so you've got to be really honest. And then I want you to think about it. Once you go through this practice, I want you to think about how that gratitude glue that came together, how did it help you have some balance is a tough word, but how did it have some harmony with ambition and satisfaction? How did that feel for you as you were reflecting on the last month and seeing how your ambition has pushed you through? You have been able to do some amazing things, but you were also hopefully satisfied in the things that you were doing at the present moment. So you could have both of these things because of the gratitude glue. Thank you for listening to this today. I'm excited to hear what you think about it. I would love to hear from you. Feel free, if you're on my email list, to hit reply and tell me what you think of this episode. If we are not connected on email, then Instagram might be a cool place, or LinkedIn. Both of those places you can find me, and I'm answering my DMs, so I would love to hear from you. And if I seem like a good coach for you, if I seem like a good support for you, I would love for you to go check out on my website. It's at amandamckinney.com/work with me. You can see all the options that I currently have and how I can support you, because I know I mentioned a lot of how I work with clients in this episode, so I want to make sure that you are invited to the table if you would like to. And thank you so much for spending your time with me today. And until next time, I want you to continue to be ambitious, but also find the harmony with your satisfaction as well, and enjoy the process all along the way, and keep being accountable.